lining things up right now, looking good to get things underway. Tail the field into position. Hughes on the inside, Dzelski on the outside. And for the last time here this weekend, we are green, green, green. Racing down into turn number 1. They'll go 3-4 wide. A couple of drivers thinking about the bottom. Hard to get that car wound up and turn. Good through 1 so far. Turn 2 equally as treacherous, as you got to watch out for the edge of the racetrack. Couple of drivers coming through. Wow, good respect further back, because you see the 3 wide there. That oftentimes does not end well. Here's a side-by-side run. Christian Brooks got to the inside there, but checked up a bit on Dzelski. So Christian Brooks, veteran driver, using all that experience to realize he wasn't going to get the job done. Backed out and allowed Dzelski to have the apex of the corner. Allows him to fight the next lap. He'll go back into the 4th position. Further back, everybody finally started getting to the line. This is where we had the issue yesterday with a driver who tapped the wall. Simon Sykes just tapped the left rear coming out of turn number 8, broke the toe link down into turn number 9, and around that machine went. Everybody rolling through now turn number 9, and now turn number 10 for the first time. We'll get the opening lap in the books. USF Pro 2000 on the racetrack. 25 laps, 45 minutes the duration. Good to get the opening circuit in. There's one of my first keys to the race, right? Get through the opening lap cleanly. Now that we're single file, every driver can start to go to work. They'll figure out who's in front of them, what they've got. Big move to the bottom there. Looks at the block move coming around the outside. That is a great scrap right now further back. Again, drivers just settling in to get things underway. So indeed, good opening lap. Happy to see these drivers able to settle in and get things lined up. Fantastic. And now we go to work. Like I said, the battles will start to form up right now. We'll see which drivers eventually are going to be scrapping each other. USF Pro 2000. Here's your top 10 as they start to get themselves underway. Hughes, Johnson, Dzelski. Great start for Nikita Johnson, fighting his way up there into the 2nd spot. Christian Brooks runs in 4th. Frankie Mossman 5th. Skeets in 6th. Braden Eve 7th, Jace Denmark, Ethan Ho, and Hunter Yaney round out the early top 10. Again, just getting things underway. Opening laps. Elliot, let's bring you back in and ask this question. Elliot Cox again joining me here, USF 2000 driver, 2 top 5s this past weekend here in USF 2000, running for Sarah Fisher Hartman Development in the dry planting Tatis. Let's talk about these opening laps. You know, opening lap is the best time to get passes, get overtakes. We know that, right? But you have to temper that so you don't make mistakes. What was your approach this weekend on the opening couple laps?
Opening lap, obviously in St. Pete, just want to make it through. But as the opening laps, probably the first 5, you're kind of learning what you have that race, what your car is, what everybody else has. Kind of analyzing where you're going to be able to make moves and where you're better, where you're faster, and just seeing where your opportunities are.
Let's come back to that. That's really interesting. So obviously, you've run a race. These drivers have already run their first race. They sit down with their engineers. Listen, it's going to be cooler. This is what I want to do to the car. Here's how we're going to set it up for these conditions. You mentioned kind of getting a feel for what your car has. Can you learn that in the first couple laps? Does it take 5, or really coming out of the gate, you know, hey, listen, this is what I got out of this machine right now?
Really, you want to get some heat into the tires. Yep. Probably around lap 3 is where you start figuring out whether you have understeer, oversteer, whether your car's good.
Yeah, am I good or am I bad, right?
Of course. And then as the track's going to evolve this morning with how cold it is, your car may get better through the race. It may get worse through the race. You never really know. I think we'll probably know around lap 10 to 12 with these guys.
Exactly that. And again, sunrise was 7:44. That was only about 25 minutes ago. So indeed, this track is going to warm up as that sun starts to bake into it a little bit. It is significantly cooler than it was, almost 50 or almost 10 degrees cooler than it was for their race yesterday at the noon hour. So much different track conditions. These drivers all doing a great job so far getting things rolling. Believe right now up front is, look at the scrap there we saw going through. That was actually, I believe, a little bit further back in the pack. We'll watch them as they come through here right now. Our live timing on the screen here in the PA booth is not popping up, so working off my app. If you haven't downloaded the USF Pro Championships app, you can do so now. I'm using it. I'm using live timing on it right now. Live timing, all the live coverage, everything available on the downloadable USF Pro Championships app. And again, Hughes, Johnson, Dzelski, Brooks, and Mossman, your current top 5. Guys settling in nicely to get things rolling here. Frankie Mossman started in 8th position. He's up into 5th right now. That is a strong start for the Jay Howard driver development pilot to get up there into that position. Here comes Liam Skeets, though, looking down to the inside at turn number 1. Skeets putting some pressure on Mossman. Not quite enough. Frankie able to come across the bow from left to right. Again, trying to stay in the mirrors. One of the things, obviously, you're doing here, you're trying to force the driver in front of you into making that mistake. You want the relentless pressure. You can see that Mossman having to really defend now down to the inside of turn number 4. He's kind of stacking things up behind him as well, right? It's Mossman 5th, Skeets in 6th, Denmark, Eves, Ho, all right there. You can see that. Then even behind Ho, you've also got Hunter Yaney, then the next gap back to Sean Rashid. So right now, Frankie Mossman's feeling the pressure because he's got the Kiwi. Liam Skeets right behind him. And again, all about hitting your marks at this time. Elliot, that's something you learn in karting. It's something you learn in USF Juniors and USF 2000 before you get to the pro category here. And that's dealing with that pressure of someone pushing it, right? What do you focus on? Is it just, man, I got to hit my marks? Is that what the key is?
Really, when you're dealing with the pressure, especially at a place like St. Pete, the street course just amplifies everything. You got to worry about the bumps. You have to worry about your car placement, the paint. Just worrying about hitting your braking points really was the biggest thing for me this weekend under pressure, because if you miss it, you're in a wall. You know, it's a huge challenge as we see moving to turn 1, and it's just something every driver has to deal with, and I think it's just going to be amplified by the moisture on the track and the different conditions this morning.
When you're watching that screen, you looked at the drivers a little bit further back, and whoever that was defending made about 3 or 4 moves. As we know, folks, the rule says you're only allowed to make 1 move, and there was a couple of moves being made there, so I guarantee Race Control would have a look at that one. But we are again underway, early running here. It's 6 laps in the books, working on lap number 7 at this point. Just checking up to see if I got anything coming in from Race Control here. Nothing as of this point here, so everybody doing well early on. Race Control, of course, managed by Joel Miller. A number of great people involved in that program. Of course, Tony Cotman in there as well. Charlie Kimball's joined us as one of our stewards this year. So veteran drivers, all part of the Race Steward Race Control program here for the USF Pro Championships. There's that, look deep in the back. There's that battle a little further. There's some drivers making some moves further back. That is, again, back between Ricardo Escoto and Matt Clark. That was Escoto who's diving all the way down to the inside there. That's the scrap right now for 13th, 14th, and 15th. We saw further back there, and Escoto on full defense mode down to the inside of the racetrack. Matt Clark trying to find a way by in the D-Force number 7. Of course, he's then going to get challenged from behind him by Nicolas Baptiste as well. And this is that fight right here. That's near the tail, more than near the tail of the field, but they are all going at it at this point. That is, again, Escoto, Clark, Baptiste, Fitzgerald, Adams, Garcia Arce all into the scrap there. David Morales, looking at my live timing, did not take the green. Not sure what happened for David Morales, but I don't know that he took the green or even took to the racetrack. I don't see a lap time there for Morales. So at this point, we have 21 drivers still running on the track, and we have a yellow. That is a wreck, I believe, in turn number 10. We have a driver, Ethan Ho, into the wall in turn number 10. Number of drivers having to take evasive maneuvers coming through, and that is Ho. He's got the visor up already, which is good, but he has hit it hard, and you can see there is significant damage. There's right rear damage. The tire debeaded on the left side as well. So we're gonna hopefully see some kind of a replay on this, but man, what a shot there as he came straight into the tires coming through turn number 10. There's the AMR IndyCar safety team quickly onto the scene. That's one of the things we tell all of our drivers, and Elliot, you can talk about this. You always want to click that visor up once you've been in an incident. Let's have a look. We're going to get a replay here, folks. Elliot, we'll play it a couple of times, but we'll let you and I have a look at it first. Here's coming through the corner. Oh, move down the inside for Hunter Yaney, and that is hard impact. Yaney did not get the job done. Then the next driver coming through made the impact. I'll try to figure out who that next driver was through. But listen, Hunter Yaney made a bunch of great passes yesterday in turn number 10. That was not one of them. Committed to the pass and wasn't able to get it done. I
think it was a bit overambitious for sure. That's a very slick part of the racetrack down in the bottom of turn 10, very dirty. If you're not all the way alongside, I don't feel like that's a move that's really going to get made done. Obviously, there's always the chance you could scare the other driver into backing out, but I just don't. He wasn't really even close that time, and it really really thankful for the safety of these cars right now to keep Ethan safe, especially with that second impact.
Yeah, no doubt. That second impact, I believe, was a 32 of Sean Rashid from VRD Racing. Man, Sean's had such a rough weekend. He was so good coming out of the gate. Got his first session in, was kind of further back, found about a full second in qualifying to move his way forward. Had a great run into the top 10 yesterday, but then had an issue and didn't finish. And there he was running strongly as well, just outside the top 10, and got collected in that incident. Hunter Yaney just pushing as hard as he could coming down into turn number 10. And Ethan, that is Elliot, that's a corner. Obviously, Ethan's turning in already. Elliot, that is a corner where if you're making that pass, you got to be alongside. You have to almost own it. It's not like you can roll to the apex there because it's so tight on the exit. You got to own the inside of the corner.
That was, to me, it was almost a bit of a karting move. You know, you stick your nose down the inside and hope the other guy sees you. And I just don't think it was a very high percentage move. You know, we talk about how St. Pete, you just want to get through the race. You just want to score good points. And that was a bit of a, last race of the season, got to go for the championship type of move. And it didn't end up working very well for either of them.
Yeah, and Yaney remains on the racetrack right now in that 9th position, I believe. So indeed, that was like just inside a battle, essentially just inside the top 10, 9th and 10th. Both those drivers were having good runs early in the event as well. Only 9, 10 laps in. Probably didn't need to happen that early. And again, at turn 10, Yaney had made some really good passes there yesterday, but to make that in turn 10, you have to get essentially right alongside in the braking zone so the driver on the outside realizes he's lost the corner and has to back up. As we saw in the replay, he threw it down in there, and Ethan Ho was already transitioning in to the apex. Of course, tough one for Sean Rashid. Nothing he could do at all. And just that contact there, you can see the right rear damage. So rear, both sides, they'll get that car put back together, and we'll see him at NOLA Motorsports Park on the first weekend of April. Let's reset the top 10 for you then. Lockie Hughes with the lead. As we know, Nikita Johnson did a great job to move up into the 2nd position. Danny Dzelski, who started on the outside of the front row and fell further back yesterday, was able to maintain his position up into 3rd. Good job for Danny here. P3 right now for the 15-year-old. Christian Brooks, another one of the rookies, running in the 4th spot. Frankie Mossman in 5th, Liam Skeets in 6th, 7th is Jace Denmark, 8th Braden Eves, 9th still Hunter Yaney, and 10th is Simon Sykes. Simon, the driver involved in the incident on lap number 1 of race 1, had the contact coming out of turn number 8, and then was into the wall after the toe link broke coming through turn number 9, collecting David Morales at that point as well. So indeed, Sykes having a better run up here to 10th, the USF 2000 champion from last year. Ricardo Escoto running in 11th, Matt Clark in 12th, Nico Baptiste 13th, Adam Fitzgerald in 14th, Logan Adams 15th, George Garcia-Arce in 16th, Avery Towns, Tyke Durst, and Nicholas Montiero rounding out the 19 drivers that remain on the racetrack. You can see Hughes working his way around here. So an opportunity for the drivers to press the reset button after getting things underway. We'll see the car there coming through. That's the machine of Sean Rashid, obviously coming through turn number 10 after that significant impact he had with the side coming through. Would have come to a stop before he reached the turn 11-12 chicane. Lap number 10 going in the books right now. 1 lap to go. You see Aaron Likens up in the tower, give them the 1 to go signal. So again, shout out to the AMR IndyCar safety crew. Not only do they keep you guys safe if there's an incident, man, they clean up the track pretty quickly, right? We don't spend a lot of time under yellow when they're able to get the track cleaned this quickly.
Oh man, they're so great. The AMR safety team. A couple yellows in the USF 2000 races, they got them cleaned up within. I think we were back green within 3 laps most every time. They keep us all safe. They do a great job, and they genuinely care. And it just feels great to know that there's a safety team behind you that knows how to do their job.
That's exactly. They know our cars, they know our drivers, they know how to take care of any kind of an incident. So Lockie Hughes is going to have to defend once again. He did it quite a bit, of course, as we know, in race number 1 as well. He's going to have to defend this time from Nikita Johnson, the young driver, local pilot, just 15 years of age. You think about the pressure. You look back to the days of Sebastian Bourdais running in the NTT IndyCar Series, a St. Petersburg resident, and how much pressure, the commitments he had throughout the week. And Nikita's been right there. He's part of the track build opening. He helped host the welcome party, the kickoff party at O'Malley's on Wednesday night. He's been doing countless TV interviews. We had him in the booth here with me yesterday as well. So much pressure on this young driver. Won here last year at 14 years of age in USF 2000, And here he is in just 15 in USF Pro 2000, won in his debut weekend at the Circuit of the Americas last August when he ran a couple of events at the end of 2023. So here's an opportunity for him to potentially go to the league. We talked a lot about the restarts he and I did yesterday and not spinning the wheels and making it happen. Green flag flying. Does Nikita have what it takes to make the run? And I'll tell you, it's enough that he's got Lockie Hughes weaving up the front straightaway. They'll come down into turn number 1. Does he throw it down to the bottom? Here he is. That's Hughes. Rather, that is Johnson thinking about Dzelski as well. He looked to the bottom and went an over-under. Not quite there, but he's on the gearbox. One driver a little wide coming through. That is a side-by-side run. D-Force and VRD. D-Force actually, I believe, in BN racers side-by-side. Through turn number 3, 2 wide. Wow, that is tough. Moves to the inside there. Liam Skeets getting challenged right now by Jace Denmark. I don't think he was able to get the job done. Denmark and then Ease right behind Liam Skeets in the TJ Speed Machine. So again, a couple drivers already out of this one, Ho and Rashid. And a no start for David Morales. I wonder whether or not it was the damage from yesterday too. Maybe just too much to be able to repair to get onto the racetrack here this morning. He'll have to look forward to the next round at NOLA Motorsports Park. Drivers finally settling in as we're getting close to the halfway point of a 25 lapper here, the back end of the doubleheader. The Foundation Building Materials Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Hughes this time, you can see the gap that he's been able to develop. You're going to see some drivers get a little further aggressive here as we get into the second half of this race, trying to move their way forward. Long season for sure before we wrap things up at Portland International Raceway on the last weekend of August. But they don't want a guy like Lockie Hughes to start getting on a roll. Last year in USF 2000, Hughes won at least one race in the first 4 weekends. That's how good he was. Had some trouble midway through the season. A really rough weekend at Mid-Ohio kind of took him out of the championship battle. But Lockie Hughes is a young driver from Australia who could most certainly come away with a championship here as a rookie in USF Pro 2000. Hunter Yaney, for some reason, all the way back to the tail of the field. I wonder whether or not he may have came into pit lane to look over that car. Remember, he was 9th for a time, but at the tail of the field, someone just drove off in the back there as well. That might have been Nicholas Montier. I think he overcooked it into turn number 7. You saw the driver in the back take the runoff. So Yaney trying to scrap his way back forward. I'm super surprised, and I'm sure you are, Elliot, as well. No damage to that car after the contact he had. He hit Ethan Hope pretty quickly, but it kind of speaks, I think, to the strength of these Tatis race cars that he was able to continue.
He was very lucky for sure to not come away with any front wing damage the way he went in there, or suspension damage to that right front. Extremely lucky, but these cars are extremely strong, can withstand a lot more of an impact than you would think. So he's pretty lucky to keep going. We'll just see what he can do from here.
Did get an insight from race control. Car number 27, Hunter Yaney, didn't get a penalty. Incident responsibility. He had to start that race from the back of the pack. So indeed, a restart, he had to go to the back. Incident responsibility for the contact with Ethan Ho. Not surprising whatsoever. We saw the replay twice. Most definitely the fault of Hunter Yaney making the move down into there. He'll definitely get penalty points for that. One of the things that we do here in the USF Pro Championships is as you're involved in incidents and they are your responsibility, you will accrue penalty points. The higher you get in terms of penalty points, you get to some thresholds where more penalties will come. So indeed, making sure these drivers are understanding the responsibility to have, the consequences for their actions on the racetrack. Field stretching out a little bit. Here's Yaney thinking about the inside again. He tries the bottom inside of Avery Towns. Thought about doing the same thing. And listen, you've got to make me side by side. And I think hopefully he's learned his lesson, the contact with Ho. You've got to be fully alongside in turn number 10. He was able to do it multiple times yesterday in race number 1, but hasn't been able to pull that trigger yet as he is now battling Avery Towns for 16th. Frankie Mossman, a little peek out to the driver's right to get in the mirror of Christian Brooks. That's the battle for 4th. There's Simon Sykes in the USF Pro Championship livery, that white, blue, and red, white, black, and red coloring rather for him. USF 2000 champion from last year, of course, moving up to USF Pro 2000 with the scholarship. Big part of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire is the scholarship, of course. Drivers in USF 2000, Elliott included, trying to race for $458,000, the scholarship to move to Indy Pro. And these drivers here, obviously looking for that scholarship to go to the Indy Next Series in 2025. The scholarship over $681,000 for the champion of USF Pro 2000 to follow in the footsteps of good drivers I've already mentioned. Here comes Yaney again to the inside. I would expect Towns may give it up this time. But again, talking about the champions in USF Pro 2000, you go back to Renus VK, who was able to win a championship there as well. Then you go to Kyle Kirkwood and Stingray Robb and Christian Rasmussen. All four of those drivers going to the NTT IndyCar Series. You got, again, two drivers in Indy next right now as well. There's a battle further back side by side. That is, I believe, Matt Clark scrapping it out right now. Clark is going out of here with, I believe, it's one of the, that's actually the battle between Simon Sykes and Matt Clark. Yeah, so Clark and Sykes had to pick up exactly who that was. And I believe, indeed, Clark getting by. That's for P9. Back to my point to cap things off with the champions. You've got Louis Foster and Miles Rowe, both those drivers expected to be challengers in the Indy Next program here in 2024. And to be honest, both, I think, with a focus on getting to the NTT IndyCar Series. So as it goes right now, we could have 6 straight USF Pro 2000 champions making their way to the NTT IndyCar Series over the next couple of years. So it was a big move to the inside for Matt Clark, going to the inside of Simon Sykes. That was that battle for the 9th spot. Clark, the rookie, getting forward here, made a couple of starts last year in USF Pro 2000, former USF Juniors rookie, the driver from just outside Toronto, Ontario, Canada. When we get up to Toronto for the Honda Indy Toronto, that'll be a big race for him for sure. The hometown, very similar to what's going on with Nikita Johnson here. Move for the number 18, Simon Sykes, coming to the inside of the racetrack. You wonder whether he's battling something right now, getting challenged by Ricardo Escoto next. That's the move to the inside you make when you're kind of worried that you potentially could get dove down into turn number 1. Into the second half of this race, just 9 laps remaining. A lot of hardcore racing happening as we got some groups there. Looks to be like Matt Clark able to stretch away a little bit, so Simon Sykes is stacking them up right now. Behind Simon, this group coming through here right now is Ricardo Escoto and Nico Baptiste, the 2 BN drivers running 11 to 12. George Garciarce and Adam Fitzgerald. Garciarce for D-Force, Fitzgerald for TJ Speed. They're all running together. The line is literally 5 drivers nose to tail. You can see Hunter Yaney trying to close up from the back as well, as he finally was able to get by both Monteiro and Avery Towns. Nonetheless, that is the scrap, as we said, for the final spot in the top 10. Sykes holding on to it with the Pabst Racing Machine thus far, but being told we are full course yellow. Not sure what happened on the racetrack, but with 17 laps in and 8 to go, we have ourselves a full course yellow. We'll try to pick up what happened. Being told, yeah, potentially the number 95 of Avery Towns has gone around on the exit of turn number 8. So Towns loops it and knocks the rear wing off the number 95 exclusive Autosport machine. Remember, he had just, I believe, gotten passed by Hunter Yaney, so not exactly sure what happened to Avery Towns. The AMR IndyCar safety team on the scene already. They'll have a quick look. I don't think this is going to be a huge cleanup. Let's have a look at the replay there. Likely just on power early and potentially looping around. Not sure if there's any contact. There comes Yaney through, so he'll be the next driver through here. No, that is Monteiro, and yeah, just literally had it locked up coming through, backed it in, the rear attenuator taking a lot of the damage there. There's not much damage to that car at all, just the rear wing. Elliot, let's walk us through that one. If we can have another look at the replay if possible. What are you doing when you come into the corner there of turn number 8 and having that car brake like that?
Turn 8, the whole 7-8 combination is a very difficult combination of corners. It kind of disrupts the whole flow of the track. You know, you see here, he just comes in. I think he probably locked up the rears just a bit coming in, maybe got on the brakes a bit too hard, and it might be a little bit wet on the inside there too, as there's a bit of camber. So there could be some water on the inside. But yeah, it's a different type of part of the track. You know, the rest of it's we have a pretty fast flowing track, and those are kind of slower, more difficult corners. And then the bumps as well, very easy to bottom out and just get a bit loose. It's very different.
Crucial as well to get out of that corner with lots of speed. Obviously, it just got passed by Monteiro, wants to put the power down to get back out, rolls that car in, starts to set the turn into the corner, maybe on the throttle a little early. Is that a possibility?
Always, for sure. Trying to get on the throttle early there is definitely an easy thing to do with the camber. You can misjudge it But the run down that straightaway is extremely crucial. You either can make a pass or get past, and if you don't get out of there, it's very difficult to maintain your position.
Yeah, throttle on oversteer, not something that happens on a regular basis. Let's put it that way. You're trying to get on the throttle as early as you possibly can. If you don't have the car placed correctly, you can drop it around. And luckily, obviously, for Avery Towns, not a lot of damage. As I said, the rear attenuator taking most of the brunt of it. He wasn't going that quickly. Knocked the rear wing off it as well. AMR IndyCar safety team will get him rolling. I don't think there would be any rear suspension damage either. You literally, since you backed it right into the attenuator, and that attenuator is designed to take that impact, to force that impact and absorb it. So ideally, he'll be able to fire things back up and maybe even get himself back to pit lane. I don't know if they'll be able to put another wing on it at this point here. But again, 7 laps to go. If we do go green this next time by, it will be 6 remaining. But Lockie Hughes still your leader. Johnson second, Jazelski third, Brooks fourth, Mossman in fifth. Hughes once again will have to defend against Nikita Johnson, who's trying to win for the second year in a row here in the hometown race for VRD Racing. Liam Skeets running in the 6th spot, Jace Denmark in 7th, Braden Eves in 8th, Matt Clark able to get up to 9th after getting by Simon Sykes. And as we know, Simon, his hands totally full over the last couple laps with the combination of Ricardo Scotto, Nico Baptiste, Logan Adams, Jorge Garciarce, and Adam Fitzgerald all there as well. So indeed, they'll do the best they can. You can see the light still down there in turn number 8. I don't think we'll go green again this time. They're going to have to get that machine out of the way for Avery Towns, and then we'll be able to go back to it. This wraps up the weekend of competition for the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire, our first event of the 2024 season. My name is Rob Howden. Hello to those of you tuning into the broadcast or on the app on your mobile phone. Joining me in the booth today, USF 2000 driver for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development, Elliot Cox, driver of the number 67 Drive Planning Tatis. We'll see him back again at NOLA Motorsports Park. A fantastic weekend for Elliot. A couple of top 5 finishes, 4th both days. So a great way for him to get the season underway. Green flag already flying right now here for Lockie Hughes. Moved lap number 19 down. We'll have 6 more to go. Can he defend now? No, look at this. Nikita Johnson's right there. Johnson, the best place he's been so far. He'll go back to the outside of the racetrack. Trying the over-under coming through turn number 1. They'll be side by side coming through 2. And I believe, no, not quite. Driver way wide coming out of the corner of turn number 1, deeper in the field. And again, drivers digging to work their way through on the restart. Tried the over-under. Did he get through? I think he may have got the job done. Nikita Johnson to P1, book it. He takes over the lead. The local driver has gone to the lead. Nikita Johnson, the over-under through turn number 1, gets to turn number 2 first. The 15-year-old leading it here once again. The pressure on this young driver racing here at home. All the duties, the media duties he had over the last week and a half. He makes a move on the restart to go to P1. He did the same thing last year, scored the win in USF 2000. Looking to come back here with a Pro 2000 victory. What a great pass there on the overtake, rolling down into turn number 1 on the restart. He has got himself a decent little advantage. Another pass as well as Christian Brooks was able to get by Danny Jazelski. So Brooks trying to work his way back on the podium for Pabst Racing. There's a little bit of a move there for Johnson, trying to see if he can't break the draft as Lockie Hughes putting the pressure back on again. Further back, Matt Clark lining up to try to get a pass done as well. Clark battling it out here right now with Braden Eves. Eves still has the inside. Does he hold it? Oh, they're side by side through turn 2 and turn 3 side by side. Eves on the outside, Clark on the inside. This is crazy stuff. Jazelski goes back down the inside of Brooks. Tremendous racing. Skeets now trying to the outside of Mossman. Hold your breath for the final couple of laps. Elbows up to cap off the weekend here in St. Petersburg. What a race to start off the day. Indy next, NTT IndyCar Series still to come. This is the future right here, though. We'll see many of these drivers in IndyCar the next couple of years, and they're putting on a show. Why? Danny Jazelski dug in there to get back by Christian Brooks. Wow. 4 to go when they get back to the stripe. Nikita Johnson trying to pull away. He needs clean and green to the end to bring one home for St. Petersburg. Out they come onto the front straightaway. Johnson and Hughes give themselves a little bit of cushion here now. You can see Danny Jazelski having got back by Christian Brooks. How about a couple of 15-year-olds potentially on the podium? Wow. Big run down to the inside there. The defense move. Not quite sure who that was. again, Clark and Eves still going at it. What a battle there. I think that might be Eves going back around Clark. Wow, this battle is for, I think, 8th, 9th, and 10th. There's your top 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right there. Side by side further back. Back to 2 BN Racing drivers side by side. That is Baptiste at it with Ricardo Escoto. Not sure where the team orders are there for BN Racing because they almost took each other out in turn number 5. You can see as they skate out of turn 8 how easy it is to make the mistake coming over the crown of the road. Obviously the crown allowing any kind of rain to kind of dissipate off both sides of the track, but you see those drivers coming through on power. The minute you get to the crown of the road, it then cambers off and you're on the throttle. You got to make sure you don't have the oversteer, exit oversteer. That's when you tap the wall. That's what happened to Simon Sykes yesterday. So easy to do on such a difficult and challenging temporary street circuit. Great racing so far here. Again, coming into the last couple of laps. There's Dzelski and Brooks. That's 3rd and 4th. Mossman, Skeets. Big move to the inside for Simon Sykes as he's again trying to hold off Logan Adams, the young racer for Comet Racing. I'm sure they're watching back at Newcastle Motorsports Park right now, one of the finest karting facilities in the nation. The Dismore family owns that track. And again, Logan Adams, the grandson of Mark Dismore Sr., multi-time starter in Indy 500, a winner of Texas, a winner of the 24 Hours of Daytona. 4th generation driver, his great-grandfather, one of the pioneers of karting, and Logan having a great run here, battling it out with last year's USF 2000 champion. Great run right now for Logan Adams, P14. Laps winding down, 2 to go this next time by. Braden Eves continuing to put the pressure now. I think he's closed up to Jace Denmark. Braden Eves, who had lost the spot to Matt Clark, pressing the reset button. Now he's moved up to potentially challenge for 7th. 5th yesterday for Braden Eves. A couple of good top 10s would start the season off well. Great to have him back in the saddle here this year, having sat out for a majority of the 2023 season. Doing a lot of work with MPG Motorsports in the karting ranks, a karting coach, get a chance to drive a bit, back in the top level of the USF Pro Championships here for 2024. White flag going to fly next time by for Nikita Johnson. He's got a 1.5 second lead on Lockie Hughes. He sat with me yesterday here. Brooks and Mossman battling it out. Let's get back at it. I think Frankie Mossman getting by Brooks, so Mossman now up into 4th. Brooks goes back into 5th. Liam Skeets putting the pressure on here as well. But Nikita Johnson sat right where Elliot Cox is right now yesterday to talk all about when we had USF 2000. We had a lot of downtime, had a chance to really do a deep dive into his career and his thoughts on racing here at St. Petersburg. Man, to think that he's going to be able to potentially stand on top of the podium after such a great job with me as a driver analyst. What a way to cap off the weekend. Big move as he was able to make on Lockie Hughes on that restart to take the lead, the over-under in turn number 1. And he will see the white flag this time by, and look at the gap that he has. It is now 2.3 seconds. Dan Mitchell and the crew at VRD put a setup on that car that has come to life in this final half of the race. And look at the scrap there. That is, again, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Big move down the inside there, a little bit further back as well. I think that potentially could be Eves by Denmark. I think Eves able to go up to 7th. The man on the move right now, Braden Eves. There's Lockie Hughes. There's Danny Dzelski, P3. That's the podium has rolled by. Oh, this is 4th, 5th, and 6th. Mossman, Brooks, and Skeets. And again, Denmark challenging. He gets back by Braden Eves. Denmark holding on to 7th. Final lap on the racetrack. Oh, we have contact. Drivers have gone out over in turn number 5 and 6. So that, I don't think we'll go yellow because we can take this all the way back. The checker flag will fly this next time by. The incident over in turn number 5. Not quite sure who it is at this point here. Potentially the number 75. Though that's a Scoto potentially involved there. But let's get back to the racetrack as coming out and across the line. What a race, the winner at St. Petersburg. USF Pro 2000 race number 2, Nikita Johnson. The local driver from St. Pete winning his home race once again, just like he did in 2023. A tremendous triumph for the 15-year-old at a Gulfport. Big victory for him. Lockie Hughes coming home in 2nd. Danny Dzelski in 3rd, fighting back. And yeah, the crowd's going to love it here. Come and join us at Victory Lane, ladies and gentlemen, as the local boy makes good. Johnson, Hughes, Dzelski on the podium. Mossman Great drive for Frankie Mossman to 4th, Christian Brooks 5th, Liam Skeets in 6th, Jace Denmark able to hold off a charging Braden Ease for 7th, Matt Clark up into the top 10, and George Garcia Arce will inherit the position P10 after the, can you believe it, the BN Racing teammates get together in turn number 5. Ricardo Escoto and Nico Baptiste out 17th and 18th. I would not want to be in the engineering room after this one. Wow. But indeed, good run as well. Logan Adams, I'm going to give a shout out to Logan Adams, P12. There's your top 10 though, folks. Johnson, Hughes, Dazelski, incredible. Lockie Hughes, a rookie as well. We don't have the R on there. We have to get the R on there for him. Christian Brooks, a rookie as well. So 2 rookies on the podium. Nikita Johnson, running a number of races last year, does not have that rookie status in the number 17, but Lockie Hughes coming home in 2nd, Danny Dazelski in 3rd. Frankie Mossman and Christian Brooks rounding out the top 5. Liam Skeets, another strong run for Liam on the podium in race number 1, 6th in race number 2. Tremendous debut for Liam, the New Zealander we hope to see with us for the remainder of the season as well. And there's 11th back to 20th. Simon Sykes had a handful of a race car. He had to hold him back. Hunter Yaney, after the incident with Ho, had to start at the tail of the field. He fights his way back up to 12th. Adam Fitzgerald in 13th. Nicholas Montiero 14th. Tyke Durst, Ricardo Escoto, and of course Nico Baptiste. Those 2 drivers getting together in the final lap in turn number 5. They have Logan Adams down here in 18th. On my timing and scoring, I've got him in 12th. So I think he is actually up into the 12th position after that battle, as we said, with Simon Sykes. We are awesome. We're actually going to be able to have a look at that incident between Baptiste and Escoto to kind of have a look at it. Elliot, have a good look at this here. The incident that happened on the final circuit coming through turn number 5. Here they come through the corner. And yeah, it looked to me like the driver from behind, whoever that was, I believe that was, Baptiste, getting into the right rear of his teammate Ricardo Escoto. So indeed, that'll be an interesting engineering debrief, I would think, Elliot.
Never something you wanna do. Contact with a teammate has got to be one of the worst feelings of all time. Knowing you have to go back to the team.
Yeah, right.
Whoever's fault it was, you've ruined both of your day, and your team's not going to be happy. So
this guy here, not a ruined day at all. VRD Racing. What a day for Nikita Johnson, able to get the restart done. What a fantastic run. There's Dan Mitchell there, the team owner for VRD, and what a big one. His first win of the season. Huge for young Nikita Johnson. We talk a lot about momentum. You don't need to win at St. Petersburg to end up with the championship, but it does give you a ton of momentum, especially for a young driver, a lot of confidence as well. Nikita won in his debut last year at the Circuit of the Americas, and he gets it done here as well on the opening weekend. And to win at home, the amount of pressure on this young driver is absolutely insane. Thinking about just 15 years of age, the eyes on you, all the stuff he did media-wise, a huge run there for Nikita Johnson, getting the victory. 2 seconds the margin over Lockie Hughes. So not only did he take the lead, he pulled away at the end of that one. That car, again, coming to life on the last 10 laps. Johnson able to get by Hughes. And Danny Dazelski, let's give him a shout out as well. A couple of 15-year-olds. And there is actually his father, Obi Johnson, getting a chance to congratulate his son, Nikita. Dazelski got passed by Christian Brooks, but then fought right back. A fantastic drive for Dazelski. So turn 3 Motorsports going P2 and P3. Mossman for Jay Howard Driver Development in 4th. Christian Brooks rounding out the top 5. We're going to be going to victory lane soon. Elliot Cox, let's come to you and give you an opportunity to talk about your sponsors. And how do the racers and fans follow you on social media?
Drive Planning is one of my biggest sponsors, Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing. Everybody who makes it possible. Huge thank you to everybody this weekend who came out for Drive Planning. Todd Burkhalter, Jerry Leonarducci, David Bradford, and everybody else. You can follow me on Instagram at EC51, Facebook, Elliot Cox Racing, Twitter, Elliot Cox Racing. Just follow along, see what happens, and hopefully go for a championship later in the year.
Good start to the season, I think, my friend. You've had ups and downs through your career so far, but a couple of top 4s, man. I'm telling you, when you come into a race as tough as this, you got to be thrilled with 2 top 5s.
Absolutely. Very good start to the season, very good momentum going in New Orleans, and hopefully be able to challenge for podiums and wins in the near future.
Elliot, thanks for joining me, man. Elliot Cox, folks, driver to Indianapolis, Indiana. Tremendous weekend for him. Great job here in the booth as well. And I'll tell you, what a race, though, for the driver, Nikita Johnson. The pressure on him, as I had said, to be able to come out and do what he did, getting that restart. We'll bring Todd Lewis back in, the voice of the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. He had a chance to watch this whole thing. Todd, you know, you've worked with Nikita a little bit. You watched all the stuff he did pre-race and being part of the, you know, the build-up for this year's Grand Prix. To be able to do what he did under the pressure here on a Sunday in front of the fans that are rolling in here for all the action today, huge for the local driver.
Hard to believe that he's a teenager in high school, showing the maturity and the racing savvy at such a young age to understand what Lockie Hughes was doing, and then on that late restart with 6 laps remaining, capitalize on the opportunity, find the spot where he could get around, make the pass stick, and as you pointed out, didn't just hold on to the lead, he pulled away and had a 2-second gap by the end of those six laps at the end. Tremendous job by Nikita Johnson.
And I always wonder about those last couple laps, especially that last lap, right? You know, you got to go back to the basics of hitting your marks, right? The entry, the apex, and the exit, and all those, you know, points in between you're trying to hit, and just make sure you do that, because the pressure, you think about that, oh my goodness, I'm going to win another race here like I won last year. The pressure is on, but he was able to bring it home. And you just got to think about what the feeling like when you're rolling under the checkered flag.
It's got to be the best feeling for Nikita Johnson, and you'll be celebrating with him on victory podium momentarily. Strong weekend for Lockie Hughes as well. Doesn't come away with the sweep, but you know what? To have a 1 and a 2 finish in the opening rounds of the USF Pro Championships, tremendous. We had great action throughout this field through the top 5, but way back through 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 battles, all for position throughout those entire 25 laps.
Yeah, some of the best fights were for 10th, right? We watched that battle between 5 drivers from 10th back to 14th. So shout out to all the drivers. Of course, a couple of incidents we would like to have not had. Of course, the one at the very end as well. I'm sure Bryn Nuttall will be sitting down with his 2 drivers from BN Racing, Ricardo Scotto and Nico Baptiste, their contact there on the final circuit. But a number of drivers came through, and I think were notables. Obviously, you know, Liam Skeet's one of the drivers as well. Has not been here. Runner-up this year in the Formula Regional Oceania Championship down in New Zealand, coming over here with TJ Speed. Just an overall good weekend. 3rd yesterday, 6th today. Braden Eves, a couple of top 10s. But again, I'll give a shout out to Logan Adams here, the rookie, the young driver out of Indianapolis, coming home with a top 12. That wraps things up here in terms of the action here. Don't go anywhere though, folks. A very quick break, and we're going to come back with Victory Lane presentations, folks. Stay with us, folks. When we get back after this quick break, it's time to hand out some hardware. Indeed, Todd, time to get things underway. We have 3 well-deserved drivers. They're going to come up here to collect some hardware, and to help them out, we've got some of our guests from the Foundation Building Materials and the sponsor of our Grand Prix here today. Let's get underway with the driver who was 3rd, fell back to 4th, but scrapped back to get it. One of our 15-year-old drivers for Turn 3 Motorsports, his first podium here in USF Pro 2000. Put your hands together for Danny Dzelski. What a drive. Bill Lindsay, one of our guests from FBM, will come up here with a trophy here for Danny. Other side, Danny. Dzelski finishing P3. A great drive for him. Turn 3 Motorsports, putting 2 drivers on the podium. Good job for Danny to get the season underway. He was quick, off-pole starter, ended up finishing in 3rd. Finishing in 2nd, winner yesterday. It's going to be a very tight championship out of the gate. Finishing as the P2 driver for Turn 3 from Australia, Lockie Hughes. Jordan Anderson will bring that trophy up here for Lockie, starting his USF Pro 2000 collection. He had a number of trophies last year in his championship bid in USF 2000. Again, as I said, Lockie was a winner in at least one time in the first 4 races last year at USF 2000. He'll be a driver to beat here. But anytime we come to this event here in St. Petersburg, you know, you always want somebody to win. They always were cheering for Sebastian Bourdais back in the day, or, of course, Dan Weldon. But how about this driver here, folks? St. Petersburg resident. He did it last year. He's only 15 years of age. He does it this year. The winner in USF Pro 2000, Nikita Johnson. Well, Nikita, I had you in the booth yesterday for USF 2000. You and I talked all about what you needed to do. On the restart, we talked about what you do in the restart quite a bit, and you handled that one perfectly.
Yes, I mean, I want to thank, first of all, the VRD boys for giving me a rocket ship. You know, qualifying, we were a bit off, but we went and looked at the data and video and just made some great improvements through race 1 and race 2. But, yeah, on the restarts, I just got it done.
Tell me about that last lap. We were talking about it. Obviously, the emotion of trying to get it done. You don't want to make a mistake, but you did the big swerve and the weave across start-finish. How did it feel to win here at home?
Felt great. I mean, on the start, I knew that he was trying to get on power early, and I could see that I was scrubbing a little bit, so I just tried to wait so that I could get full power earlier than him. And, yeah, that worked, so I got a big run on him, went outside, and just kind of held him down and then forced a little error, and then just got underneath, and after that started going purple laps.
Let me give you a chance to thank a lot of your sponsors. I know VRD Racing, but you got a lot of people behind you.
Yes, Labrador Primary Care and Clinic, 409 Direct A, Zoe Energy, PSA Check, Tiger Precision Products, and I just want to thank all the VRD boys, and, well, O'Maddy's too.
All right, get on top of the podium here. This guy has been busy for the last 2 weeks, folks, and what a way to wrap things up at the top of the podium. We're going to bring, again, both Bill and Jordan up here with the P1 trophy. Again, all our guests from FBM here this weekend. Thanks for having you guys here. But again, talk about the way to cap off what has been a busy couple of weeks for Nikita Johnson. What a drive for him. Look at those of you watching into home. I'm sure we're watching the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. All three of these drivers here with their focus on getting to IndyCar. And again, as I said before, 4 of our most recent champions in the IndyCar program here right now. The other 2 running in Indy next. What a day it has been for Nikita Johnson, though, taking full advantage of that restart to get by Lockheed Hughes. The championship very tight on top right now. And the same goes for Danny Zzelski, able to take that spot back after Christian Brooks had worked his way in to P3. Max Pappas coming up here, one of the race stewards for IndyCar. A quick chat with the top 3 drivers. Yeah, Max, you're going to be calling races with these guys here pretty soon, I guarantee it. All 3 of these drivers aiming to get to the NTT IndyCar Series in the next couple of years. But what a way for us to cap off the start of our Continental years here with the USF Pro Championships. All the drivers handling these Continentals so well. They were fantastic throughout the entire duration, and a great way to kick off the 2024 season, as we know. Lots of stuff being wrapped up down here in Victory Lane. The hat dance, of course. We'll bring the champagne out here momentarily to finish things off. And again, those of you still tuning in here on the YouTube channel or our USF Pro Championships app, great to have you with us. Hope you had a morning coffee and enjoyed some fantastic racing. Champagne's going to be up next, boys. Drop those trophies down. Again, they don't have to wear these suits again until NOLA Motorsports Park on the first weekend of April, so they can go to work on each other. We'll get the shot on top, and again, set to wrap up this tremendous weekend in St. Petersburg. Boys, grab your champagne. Let's have some fun. Grip it and rip it. It's time to celebrate Nikita Johnson winning here today in USF Pro 2000. Champagne flying, and it wraps things up here from the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Great way to start off the 2024 USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. On behalf of Anderson Promotions and everyone involved in this program, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. On the broadcast, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.